There's mental effort and then there's physical effort. And in the beginning, when you're learning something relatively new, it's going to require more mental effort in terms of attending. Your attention is what requires a sustained mental focus so that your physical labor is decreased, right? So it's like hours and hours of standing, zangchuan, standing post meditation. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Standing meditation. So we can release, we find those areas that are really held in a lot of tension. And because we are committed to a period of time in the standing meditation, we have to find ways to release those areas of tension. Even though the mind holds on to these patterns and the physical body holds on to these patterns, the perseverance of that time period and stance, commitment to the stance, causes us to find a way through, right? Because as humans, we learn by being challenged, right? And we learn by contrast. So we need a challenge in order to be able to feel the importance of things. When things kind of stay in this sort of optional conceptual realm, we opt in or out, we practice or we don't practice, we attend or we don't attend, but we're constantly distracted, right? So if we're committed to the form, whether it's seated, standing meditation, then the practice is just returning, because the mind, as you know, I'm sure you've heard this description, the thoughts are like the respiration of the mind. They're not going to disappear, right? So if thoughts are the respiration of the mind, then they're not the enemy. So to not make an enemy of ourselves in any way is part of the sort of grounding practice of acceptance of things as they are, without a sense of perfectionism or wanting to be elsewhere or distracting from the moment, or some sort of some sort of restlessness in where we are right now, as we are right now. In Taoism, we call a kind of sitting meditation like sitting and forgetting. So sitting and forgetting what? Forgetting your pain, forgetting your thoughts, having a thought, forgetting your thought, forgetting your existence, knowing your existence. So it's sort of like sitting and forgetting is also like a sitting and remembering as well. Remembering, as in when you're remembered, you're a member. You're a member of something. You're a member of all life on earth. Right? But we forget that because the mind has gone elsewhere from this steward of the soul, our body, corporeal body. The mind thinks it can separate itself and goes on a trip on its own without the body. But that over the long term is, without enough return visits to the body, it becomes very taxing on the body. Right? And then how does the mind regard the body? Is it just a vehicle, a work vehicle that we're just going to work to the bone? Do we regard the body as lesser, more primitive, unimportant, stupid? Right? So is there an equal respect of mind and body? Do the mind and the body respect each other equally? And to really analyze what that is in the moment. Sometimes maybe yes, sometimes maybe no. Right? So if the mind and the body are like a rider and a horse, how does the rider ride the horse? The quality of the relationship of the horse and the rider. Does the rider overwork the horse and just treat the horse with the whip? to overwork it, to just keep going past its limits, to not listen to the horse's needs, mortal, physical needs. A horse is a very physical, sensitive, sensual animal, right? And how the rider can tap into the physical intelligence of the horse allows this kind of symbiosis to happen between the horse and the rider. And symbolically, it's like the mind and the body. How is this symbiosis like a vital, life-giving, creative, generative, reciprocal relationship? So that the horse and the rider become one, and that the mind and the body become one. Mind and the body becoming one, flattening out the hierarchy so that there's a mutual respect, means there's a mutual communication of energy that becomes generative and creative, right? And then the vessel of the body and the state of the mind are able to inhabit the spirit in a way that is healthy and sustainable. Right? So often we think of this kind of like pyramidal hierarchy of body, mind, spirit, right? Going this way, with the spirit being, godlike, separate from the human, like superhuman. But really in Taoism, we're just like, well, humans are humans. We accept our humanness. We accept that humans are animals that live on this earth on borrowed time, and that we are the children of the earth. We arise from the elements of the earth, and we're not separated from that. We're not special in that way. But what is special is that we have an ability to reflect and see something that maybe other animals cannot see in themselves. There's a kind of self-reflection that is both magical opportunity, but it also can become a house of mirrors, right? It can get us into a maze of self-looking, right? So how do we put ourselves back into context so that we fully accept our existence, that our existence is a miracle, and that it's enough, and that we belong here because we are here. So because we are here, we don't have to deserve to be here because we are here. So we are here, we belong here, and we are a steward of these lives that we got. And so to behave in a responsible way, part of the remembering is to not disassociate our mind from our mortal body, from our human selves, our mortal body that is of this earth, of the same elements of everything else on this earth. So this is our practice of returning to existence and not needing more, and seeing things as they are at the moment that they arise, seeing clearly. This is the return or the goal that harmonizes us with our existence, our belonging in nature. And there's nothing more that is needed. There's no more perfection that can be achieved. There's obviously a very non-American way of thinking. But we in the Western world, we are very influenced by this moment of development of a kind of civilization, right? So we can't forget that. We don't need to punish ourselves for being indoctrinated in a certain way. We're just conditioned in a certain way, right? And so this practice helps us to return to something that is more essential. We don't have to be at war or to put things into better than, less than, good, bad context. That just gets you all agitated, hot under the collar about good and bad. It's not necessary. Not necessary to be a battle. Both can exist because both do exist. So the question is, what's the most important thing? And what are you going to cultivate? What is important to you? What do you want to cultivate? How do you want to emanate your presence in the world? How do you want to inhabit your own body? How do you want to relate to others and inhabit your body as it moves in this world? Those are the questions. What is the most important thing? I hope you have fun with your practice this week and see you next week. Okay? Take it easy, everybody.